Hey, what's happening, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. Got a fun fantasy fight to talk about. Who knows, maybe one day we will see it. Deiveson Figueiredo versus Henry Cejudo. Now, Deiveson is defending his flyweight title soon against Brandon Moreno. He is a big flyweight. Very possible he moves up to bantamweight. Cejudo, of course, retired, but we all know that's temporary. So without wasting any more time, let's get into how this fight may possibly play out. Alright, starting with Deiveson Figueiredo. He is 5'5" tall. He has a 68-inch reach. Like I said, he's the current UFC flyweight champ. Figueiredo sports a mixed martial arts record of 20 wins, 1 loss. Pretty stellar record. 9 knockout wins, 8 submission wins. So yes, Deiveson Figueiredo, very well-rounded, dangerous both standing and on the ground. He has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Right now, Figueiredo is on a 5-fight win streak. Out of those 5 fights, he won via stoppages 4 times. So for flyweight, Figueiredo is very muscular for the division, very big. He has knockout power on the feet, very strong. He's fast, he's explosive, he moves well. He's like a viper on the mat. You make a mistake, he's gonna snatch you up. His signature submission in mixed martial arts is basically the guillotine choke, nasty squeeze. Figueiredo is a true fighter. This guy's mean, he's very tough, and he goes for the finish. Big fan of his fighting style. Moving on to Henry Cejudo. Of course, Cejudo was the flyweight champ and the UFC bantamweight champ. He's the 4th fighter in the UFC to hold titles in 2 separate divisions simultaneously. Cejudo's dimensions, he's 5'4", 64-inch reach. One of the best wrestlers we've ever seen in the sport. Olympic gold medalist. It gets no more elite than that. His mixed martial arts record is 16 wins, 2 losses, 8 wins via KO. Cejudo, before he retired, was on a 6-fight win streak. Crazy resume. In that last streak, he defeated Sergio Pettis, Demetrius Johnson, TJ Dillashaw, Marlon Moraes, Dominic Cruz. Crazy notches on his belt. Very impressive. Cejudo is a very special athlete, both physically and mentally. I don't think they come more mentally strong than Henry Cejudo. He has a great attitude and approach for mixed martial arts, constantly learning, constantly improving. I remember when he lost to DJ the first fight, people basically wrote him off. They said he'll never win the belt, he'll never beat DJ, he'll never improve to the point to win a belt. All false. Henry worked his ass off, came back with a vengeance, and just kept improving and evolving. At this point, he has dangerous, formidable stand-up, knockout power, off-the-charts wrestling, phenomenal grappler. I would say great understanding of submissions and defense. Cejudo has a high fight IQ, really studies his opponents, their bad tendencies, and exploits them. Another dangerous thing about him, he follows game plans, no matter what. Heart for days, he can break guys in that cage. Big fan of Henry Cejudo. Alright, so how could this fight possibly play out between Deiveson Figueiredo and Henry Cejudo? Man, I'm gonna say great fight. If the fight's at bantamweight, I'm gonna give the edge to Henry because Henry's used to fighting in that weight class. I do think he's gonna be the stronger guy. That wrestler core strength is uncanny. But Figueiredo is a monster, very strong guy. He's big for flyweight, so he'll fit right into bantamweight. But overall, physically, I do think that Henry's the more powerful of the two, maybe more explosive, but it's close. In the striking department, I'm going to say that Deiveson Figueiredo is more skilled, more diverse on the feet, has more tools in his arsenal, but that hasn't stopped Henry from beating other strikers that are on paper more superior to him. And he did that with heart, high fight IQ, and following a game plan. Example, when he beat Marlon Moraes. So even though Figueiredo has more of a mixed bag of tricks on the feet, Cejudo should not be counted out. He's dangerous as well, and every fight, he looks better and better. But overall, I do give the edge in striking to Deiveson Figueiredo. On the ground, it's tough to say, because on one hand, I can see Cejudo controlling Figueiredo with that elite wrestling and grappling experience, but in pure BJJ and submissions, I'm going to say that Deiveson Figueiredo has the edge. But I do think that Cejudo is good enough to stifle what Figueiredo does on the mat. I think he'll be okay. Now, if Cejudo puts his neck out there and Deiveson gets a lock on it, he absolutely could tap out Henry. But the beauty of being a good wrestler is you could dictate where the fight plays out. BJJ and submission grappling only works if you can get the fight to the mat. And with Henry's wrestling, I don't think that's going to be an easy task for Deiveson Figueiredo. So the ground for me is going to kind of be like a wash because I give the submission grappling edge to Deiveson Figueiredo, but I'm not sure if he could get the fight to the mat. And if he does, I think Henry's going to be pretty savvy enough to avoid getting tapped out and definitely able to get the fight back to the feet. Heart and will to win, I think personally even. Toughness, both of these guys equally tough savages. Cardio and conditioning, for me, I'm going to give the edge to Henry because sometimes moving up in weight, it could affect their cardio in a negative way. Like I said earlier, Henry's more used to the division and he's just a phenomenal freak athlete who's highly disciplined. You know he's going to come in shape. He knows it as well, and that's like part of his weaponry, pushing the pace, putting that pressure on guys, and making them break. In this fight, if it were to ever take place, I could see Henry Cejudo winning via decision, maybe even via stoppage, if he tires Deiveson Figueiredo out. But I think it'll be a battle. I think they're fairly evenly matched, but the deciding factors for me giving the edge to Henry is going to be his fight IQ, his will to win, and his ability to stick to a game plan. I think he'll mix things up. The fact that he could dictate where the fight plays out is also a huge factor. I think he can score on the feet, land some good shots. When things get a little bit too tricky on the feet, I think he would take Deiveson down. He would have to watch out for that guillotine, but the fact that he can mix things up, keeping Figueiredo guessing, defending, I think that'll give him the edge. Deiveson also comes forward. He's not a counter striker, he's not a counter fighter in my eyes, and it's easier scoring takedowns on a guy coming forward as opposed to a guy who's going to sit back and run. They both could beat each other, but for me, I'm going to say Henry Cejudo wins this fight more often than not, 70-30. And if I had to pick a method, most likely via decision in my eyes. But anyway guys, that's going to wrap up this short breakdown. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If this is your first time at the channel and you did enjoy the video, consider hitting that sub button. Like and share, very important. Helps the channel grow. Really appreciative of you guys. Let's cross our fingers. I hope this one goes down at some point. It will be pretty epic. I do think Henry's coming back, and I do think Deiveson Figueiredo will move up. Once again, thanks guys, and until the next segment, you all take care.